Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, my dear students, Matthew, other representatives from Victoria University, my dear friend, Ambassador of Argentina, thank you very much for being here with us. I'm pleased to acknowledge the presence here tonight of these gifted young New Zealanders who visited São Paulo, Brazil, and had an opportunity to experience this astonishing city firsthand.
The new LATAM Cape was keen to run an activity that would be relevant to both business and young people. Through the sort of pre-existing personal connections which you can only have in a metropolis like Wellington, we were introduced to Young Enterprise, a long-established and widely admired organisation dedicated to raising financial literacy and entrepreneurial skills among New Zealand high school students. Those conversations quickly led to the decision to send a group of students to Latin America, if the right students and the right destination could be found. At that point, Education New Zealand's Senior Market Development Manager for Brazil, Ana Azevedo, put a hand up and said they got to go to Sao Paulo.
Kia ora. On behalf of the family who travelled to Brazil, I would like to say thank you to all of you here. It all started for each of us attending Young Entrepreneurs in Actions. We were selected from 3,636 students. Less than 200 students experienced this intense weekend designed to help us develop our skills and push us to our limits. One of my favourite challenges was a market entry strategy into Asia, which was sponsored by NZTE. Way back in August, I was presented with the opportunity to apply for Brazil, unknown to my parents. I applied believing I would never actually be accepted. Fast forward to October, 5 minutes before I'm about to go on stage for dancing, I get a call from Colin. I really couldn't believe that it was all happening and thought he had the wrong number. One of my main motivations for applying to Brazil was that I come from one of the poorest regions in New Zealand, and I constantly see the potential that Gisborne has. I knew that passion is sometimes not enough to change a situation. You need to put yourself out there and gain skills and experience to create something worthwhile. And that is exactly what we did.
So, first of all, I'd like to give a big thank you to our guardian angel, Stephanie. She organised all of our flights and made sure we got to Brazil safely and back home safely. And that was really nice. So the build-up, it was very intense. Like, it was nerve-wracking considering we were travelling halfway across the world with 7 different students that we'd never even met before. And what I was expecting was to get to Brazil and there would be a massive language barrier, but we all kind of came together and embraced the culture and the language, and we did our best to learn as much as we could, and that was awesome. It was a good effort from all of us, I believe, and I also was expecting to learn a lot about business that I didn't already know from doing Young Enterprise, which I did. I learned so much that I didn't believe I would ever come across. So also what I didn't expect was I didn't think there would be any cliques or any groups that would separate, which I was right. We all kind of came together and became our own little bicultural family, Kiwis with Brazilians, and that was awesome. I thought it was pretty cool. And I didn't expect to come away from Brazil with 7 students that have become my close friends from all around New Zealand.
The journey over was hectic, to say the very least. Approximately 11 hours before we had to fly to Buenos Aires, we were abruptly rerouted on a 13-hour flight to Houston, Texas. From there, we would fly for a further 10 hours to Sao Paulo. However, in between our long flights, we were able to connect and form relationships on the airport floors. Through heated games of cards and unnecessary shopping trips, we quickly became our own little New Zealand family, ready to take on all that Brazil had to offer. On behalf of all of us here, I would like to summarise our journey over in the form of an extended haiku poem. How did you do it? Change flights hours before we left. The stress levels high. My dreams flashed before my eyes. My mum almost cried. But we got there in the end. Thank you, our dear friends.
First, describe how what we did in Brazil in one word would be immersion. Because during our brief stay in Brazil, we didn't just get a feel for what the culture was like. We experienced what it was like. We immersed ourselves in what it was truly meant to be a Brazilian, in the cultural sense and in the business sense. We managed to fit events into a week that, man, it should have been possible to fit that much into 1 week. The business side of the trip was the main attraction. The businesses and the people we met and visited were so inspiring. There are two that I would like to mention. 4U2 was an English school within one of the most dangerous and poor areas of Sao Paulo. And that really resonated with me because I come from Auckland, and specifically South Auckland. I don't know if you guys have heard of Māngere. That's the gateway to the nation because we have the airport. So any of you that want to go to anywhere else, you got to come to Māngere. Gateway. So for me, it was the sense of community in that area. They try to help the people that were in this low socioeconomic area to better themselves through education, which is something that me and my family have always told me that can change people's lives. And truly, that's what they try to teach to the people of Brazil, and that's why I found this so inspiring. Another one was NZTE. I'd like to thank them for being here tonight. We were lucky for them to take time out of the day to meet us here, and also to take us into Brazil into their offices. I know it was a really enriching experience for all of us. I know that it really deeply inspired us and moved us, and I know that the experience itself as a whole was just amazing. We did a lot of fun things. We ate a lot of food, drank a lot of guaraná. If you guys don't know what that is, you need to search it up and drink it. It is amazing. The best thing though for me was the capoeira. I don't know if you guys will see a video of us doing it, but he's pretty good at it. But the thing that was the best about it is that although we didn't speak the same language, through their movement and their passion, we were intertwined together. And we knew what they were saying just by how they acted. So the trip for me was amazing, and yeah, thank you guys.
During our time in Sao Paulo, I can confidently speak for everyone in saying that we all learned many invaluable lessons, both cultural and business related. One of the cultural lessons we all learned was how fast-paced and vibrant the Brazilian lifestyle is. Through spending time with the Brazilian students and the amazing team from Campus Brazil, we figured out pretty quickly that if you didn't keep up, you'd be left behind. We also took home learnings about business and entrepreneurship during our stay. We learned that there is a huge market in Brazil, although this creates a lot of opportunities for entrepreneurs. Along with it comes a highly competitive market. However, during the roundtable discussion, we were able to understand how entrepreneurs succeed in Sao Paulo. We learned how persistence and hard work is key. It was so clear that the Brazilian entrepreneurs are constantly hard-working and don't give up. They were fast-paced problem solvers. All of these lessons were invaluable to all of our students, as we are able to apply these lessons to our lives and future ventures back home. Personally, this trip has encouraged me to take any opportunity that is thrown at me and make the best out of every experience. I know in the near future I will find myself in Brazil again.
From this trip, we've found ourselves being asked many questions, and one I'm answering today is, what am I going to take out of this trip? And really the answer to this is never ending, because it's everything we've ever learnt on this trip. Going into study for the next few years, I know I've learned and gained lifelong skills and knowledge that is just going to set me up and give me such a strong base. This trip taught me many things, but a few things is things to do with business life. In business, you always must stay ahead of the game. Things are always going to change, but you must seize this change. Listen to what is said, because there's a story behind everything. In business, you must stay ahead of the game, so you must learn fast, fail fast, move on fast. We all have a destination, but we are told to embrace the journey, because that is the foundation of our life and future. You don't have to be an entrepreneur in business, you can be an entrepreneur as well. I can and will apply all this knowledge and skills that I have learned to my future and what it may hold for me. So thank you, everyone.
For me, I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or awake, because that week was... That's an inside joke, by the way. That 1 week probably should have been maybe 2 or 3 weeks. every single second we were doing something. No sleep-ins. I like my sleep-ins. We didn't get any. And okay, so we learned so much about business in Brazil, Brazilian culture, so much about ourselves in that jam-packed week, and it never seemed to end. Unfortunately, when it did end, none of us wanted to leave. Thank you, Ambassador, for meeting us before we went on our trip, giving us crucial advice we needed over in Brazil, and hosting tonight's event. You guys have an incredible work environment here. It's pretty cool. Thank you to Young Enterprise for the support. You guys supported this trip, as well as some two great people. One kind, loving lady and a funny Irishman. Colin and Terry for chaperoning us around, and yeah, you guys had your work cut out for you. The biggest thank you of all is to the team at Latin America Cape. Stephanie, thank you for booking us our flights and all the logistics around the trip. Lastly, but definitely not least, Matthew. Thank you so much for making this whole program possible. Without your assistance, we would never been able to go on the trip, learn as much as we have, made the relationships we've formed, and overall the experience we had. Thank you. The legacy of this trip will be real, as we've made lasting relationships and now truly feel like global citizens. The trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil, opened our eyes to all possibilities. We believe business is the most powerful tool to create change, for better and for worse, in the world around us. As a result of this trip, we now feel better equipped to make these changes, and for the better. For me personally, with my business, I have recently pitched to some angel investors for financial backing, and they asked me a question about transitioning internationally. I used my knowledge and experience to answer that question that I learned from the trip to Brazil, which was needed. So thank you guys so much. We had a great time.
We've been doing trips overseas for over 10 years now. We generally do one trip a year. And this to me has been one of the most special ones we've ever done. And if I were to describe the difference, I guess it comes down to three things. The first is the total immersion we had. So rather than other trips where we kind of felt like a tourist visiting, and sometimes we would do a competition and sometimes we might visit some companies, this was a real immersion trip. From the people that we worked with on the ground, so we've heard about Anna from Education New Zealand, the fabulous NZT people, the wonderful local partners Campus Brazil, they were just awesome, and most importantly, the actually having 4 Brazilian students with us the whole week made it a really immersed experience, so you felt like you were part of Brazil.
And my special thanks to Libby, Tearawa, Aidan, Benjamin, Grace, Jack, and Rebecca. Awesome. Well done, guys. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. It was very interesting. I really hope that a bit of Brazil can remain within you, become a part of who you are, help you become better people, better professionals, and so you can take this experience with you.